Now that Donald Trump's campaign is squarely in the toilet, Republicans in the U.S. Senate are now starting to wet themselves out of fear that Donald Trump is going to cost them their last chance to retake the Senate until the 2030 election. Now, the reason I say until 2030 is because that's what Republican Steve Daines told us earlier this year. He said that if Republicans cannot retake the Senate in the year 2024, they won't have another chance to do it until the 2030 election. And the reason, of course, for that is because this year, and again in 2030, there will be more Democrats up for re-election than Republicans. Right now, there's 2 Democrats for every 1 Republican. The next cycle, I believe it's the even split cycle, so equal number of Democrats and Republicans, but because those states are not necessarily swing states, it's going to be a wash typically. Then the election after that, you're going to have more Republicans than Democrats. That's 2028. So it's not until 2030 where there's going to be more Democrats than Republicans up for re-election. So that explains that. Now, as for Donald Trump, he is performing so poorly in the states and hemorrhaging support in the states where there are Democrats running for Senate and Republicans, obviously. They're worried he's going to cost them. Here is what one Republican said. And this, of course, is actually somebody who was a former advisor to Mitch McConnell. They said, quote, "You can start to feel the trepidation. Like with Arizona, you get a sense in talking to folks that it's not going as well as we hoped. In Nevada, it's not going as well as we hoped. He's going to run the way he's going to run, and it's not a great feeling." And then, of course, you had this Republican say, quote, "There's no question Trump is going through self-immolation. All swing states are won by independent votes, and he's alienated the independent vote almost every day with some foolish statement that marginalizes him and, as a result, the party. And the majority of independents are educated women, and they're just turned off by the guy and what he says. Nevertheless, Trump keeps running his campaign the way he wants to run his campaign, by God. Nobody's going to tell him how to do it. He's going to keep attacking Kamala Harris. J.D. Vance is going to keep making horrible comments about women or have his past horrible comments about women resurface. And not only does it tank the top of the ticket, it tanks every other Republican on the way down. Here's what they're talking about. In Nevada, you have Senator Jackie Rosen, Democrat, now leading her Republican challenger Sam Brown by 19 points. So there's one seat that Republicans aren't going to get. In Pennsylvania, incumbent Senator Bob Casey increased his lead over GOP candidate David McCormick from 8 points to 13 points. In Arizona, Democratic Representative Ruben Gallego has increased his lead over Republican Kari Lake from 5 points to 9 points. Actually, there was a poll last week that showed his lead is 11 points, so this is a little dated. In Michigan, Representative Elisa Slotkin, the Democratic nominee for Senate, has expanded her lead over former Representative Mike Rogers, her GOP challenger. Internal Republican polling shows Harris gaining ground on Trump in Ohio, a state Republicans had expected Trump to win by double digits, and in Ohio, incumbent Sherrod Brown is now leading Republican challenger Bernie Moreno with 47% to Moreno's 42%. So a 5-point lead as Trump does worse in Ohio. It's to the point now that Republicans are now starting to worry that not only are they not going to pick up any seats other than West Virginia, because Joe Manchin's not going to win that, so they're going to pick up one pretty much for sure. But now they're worried they're going to lose more because suddenly these same Republicans are starting to worry that Florida and Texas, at least in the Senate, if not in the presidential race, Florida and Texas Senate seats might be up for grabs. You've got Rick Scott, who has a 35% approval rating in Florida, who is ahead of his Democratic challenger by 4 points. But that lead is getting smaller, and Rick Scott is getting less popular. And Florida's getting a little more energized for Harris. So, hey, anything could happen in Florida this year. I'm not even ruling it out anymore. Texas, yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. Sorry, Ted Cruz is probably not going to lose. I would love for it to happen, And if Republicans are panicked about it, they're going to dump more money in there to make sure it doesn't happen. But in order to do that, you got to take money away from somewhere else. And Republicans are not doing a good job raising money. All in all, Donald Trump is hurting the party with their fundraising. He's hurting them with the polls. None of them want to show up on rally stages with him anymore. He is killing the Republican Party. He has put his daughter-in-law in charge of the GOP. She is running it into the ground. Everything right now is going worse than I think we have ever seen for the Republican Party. And for the record, I am loving every second of it. America's Lawyer has launched its own YouTube channel. Now, this channel, of course, is still in its early phases of development, but you can help grow it by subscribing. Just go to youtube.com/TheAmericasLawyer, and you'll get all of the great content from Mike Papantonio and myself that we produce every single week.